Have you ever noticed the intricate carvings around old doorways and wondered why our ancestors spent so much time decorating something as simple as an entrance? When Emma inherited her grandmother's Victorian house, she dismissed the elaborate symbols carved into every doorframe as quaint folk art. Spirals, crosses, protective eyes, and strange geometric patterns covered the thresholds like wooden prayers frozen in time. The real estate agent had mentioned the house's history during colonial times, how it had survived when neighboring homes mysteriously burned or were abandoned overnight. Emma laughed it off as small-town superstition. She moved in on a crisp October evening, immediately planning renovations. The carved door frames felt oppressive, making the already narrow hallways seem even smaller. She decided they had to go. That first night, Emma heard scratching. Soft, deliberate sounds coming from outside her bedroom door. When she opened it, nothing was there, just the carved threshold staring back at her with its wooden eyes. The scratching continued nightly, always stopping the moment she investigated. During the day, she caught glimpses of movement in her peripheral vision, shadows that shouldn't exist in well-lit rooms. Frustrated and sleep-deprived, Emma hired contractors to sand down the door frames. They started with the front entrance, removing centuries of careful craftsmanship with electric sanders. That evening, the scratching grew louder, more insistent. Emma found deep gouges in the hardwood floor leading from the front door to her bedroom, as if something with claws had dragged itself through her house. She called her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who had known Emma's grandmother for decades. "Those carvings weren't decorations, dear," Mrs. Chen whispered over the phone. "They were barriers. Your grandmother's family knew things about this land that most people forgot. Some doorways don't just separate rooms, they separate worlds." Emma's blood ran cold as she realized what she had done. The front entrance, now stripped of its protective symbols, stood naked and vulnerable. That night she didn't hear scratching. She heard breathing. Heavy, deliberate breaths coming from the living room below. Footsteps that didn't belong to any human walked through her house, testing boundaries that no longer existed. Emma barricaded herself in her bedroom, the only room whose threshold remained intact. Through the carved doorframe, she could see shadows moving in the hallway, shapes that defied explanation pressing against the remaining protection. As dawn approached, she understood why her grandmother had never left this house. Some prisons aren't meant to keep people in. They're meant to keep other things out. The question isn't whether these old protections work. The question is what happens when you remove them.